was making my way along the Great Northern Highway towards the Bungle Bungles, and I'd entered croc country. Tonight I'd camp at Mary Pools before riding the last stretch into the Bungle Bungles tomorrow morning. The quiet roadside stop I was expecting was packed. It seems the closure of the Gibbs River Road had funneled people all into the one area. I spotted a place that looked like it would fit my bike and tent perfectly. I was only expecting a dirt patch beside the road, so this place was a surprise. Camp set up next to the causeway. Now I'm gonna drop the oil. Actually, there was a mechanic who's just wandered past and said, "Do you need a hand?" So I might have someone just in case. I think I'll be fine though. It's not a bad little spot, as you can see, because there's a lot of people here. Well, priorities made, and I got the oil change done. Missed the sunset, but all good. Sure there'll be another one tomorrow night. So that's about it. All changed, camp set up. Gonna try and head out early tomorrow to see how this trail is. Because the longer I'm there, the more people will probably come past, so I can check the water depth, if it is deep or it looks deep, and let a 4-wheel drive go through and say, okay, how deep is it? So apparently there's 7 river crossings. The mechanic said he'd heard the 7 river crossings, so should be fun tomorrow. Hopefully I get in. If not, I turn around and come back out. As the sun set, I headed to bed, keen to know what tomorrow would bring. Would I be able to make it into the Bungle Bungles? Morning. Birds are up. Still dark-ish outside, but light seems to come up pretty quick up here, so I'm going to start packing up and dip back out on that road. Tent's packed up, and interesting thing I found out last night from the mechanic guy, Fitzroy Crossing only opened 2 days ago. So Gibbs, Fitzroy, so basically getting through the north here, nobody can move, and I think that's why there's a lot of people around still. Luckily, it opened up by the time I came through. Bungle Bungles, however, we'll see if I can get through. It'll be fun at least getting on the dirt track trying to get in. So, airbox, although it's on the other side, about there. And I can't go deeper than that because the air goes into the engine, and if water's there, it won't work. Alright, onto the road. I left all the other campers as quietly as I could. I definitely didn't want to be the idiot who lights it up when they leave. The area is so full of people, they had to resort to camping on the open ground on the way into Mary Pools. They have bins here, so I may as well use them while I have the chance. quick stop as it's a little chilly. It's in between, so I thought I'd just put another jacket underneath or top just to cut it, and then in about 20 minutes I'll have to take it off again. But there was also a view, so I thought I'd have a look. I thought I should check out all of the dry riverbeds as I crossed them to see if any of them were holding any water. If they're dry, then I should be good to get into the Bungle Bungles. If they have a little bit of water, I think I still should have a chance of being able to make it in. If they have a lot of water flowing like a river, I may be in trouble. It looks like a caravan exploded. That's not looking promising. Water on the road. I had made the turn off that leads to the national park, and good to know it's open. Corrugations on this dirt road were brutal. Well, I'm on the track into the Bungle Bungles. So far, one river crossing. There is 7, apparently, so I'll count them down. Obviously, that was nothing. The corrugations are pretty big, though. That's about the worst thing. It's like, if that's it, I just get a bit slower so I don't rattle everything apart. But yeah, it's haven't seen anybody yet, so we will see how I go and if I make it all the way in. This was my first real water crossing. Well, there's no use in waiting around. It didn't look too deep. I would just have to try and spot and avoid any of the larger rocks. Luckily, the water is crystal clear. Let's hope all the water crossings are that easy. I find it best to slow up and have a quick look to where the best line through the water might be, instead of just charging straight into it. Well, I soaked my boot on that one. The goal was to make it across without stalling or dropping the bike in the water, because if I did, it would probably be game over. It's always best to look straight ahead to where you want to go and not down at where you are. And then, seeing water above the side tanks was concerning, I'm not going to lie, but luckily it seemed to just be a bow wave from the bike dropping into a hole. This time I thought I might take it a little more carefully. I went with the idea that the shortest route would be the best. So far so good, a lot of fun. There's one I went across, got water on my bed, it was like dolt, and then the other one I probably went to close to the middle, and yeah, that came up to my knees. Not the water level, just the splashing. So yeah, definitely got soaked boots, and also my bike looks a lot cleaner. Just stopped because I've got still a hoodie on, so I'm going to take that off. It's getting a bit warm. I've got about 10 k's to go, and yeah, so if that's the deepest of them, we should be all good. But there is still 10 k's to go, so we'll find out. I made my way up the side of the water, but this section at the end looked like it could be hiding some deep holes. I could get off and check, or... well, no holes in that one. Same again here. I may as well just have a crack. Well, the water came over the side fuel tanks again, but the bike doesn't seem to have an issue going through that amount of water. There were a few more muddy holes that were easy to get around. Then what seemed to be an actual flowing stream. And finally, I'd made it into the national park. There was just a bit further to get to the campground. Continued on, following this ribbon of dirt as it made its way over, around, and through this landscape. The national park has two main areas. I was going to check out the area on the right today, then see what was on the left tomorrow. But first I needed to get to the campsite, just a few more streams to cross. That was a lot of fun coming in. It probably took nearly 2 hours, and there was the one that I felt it up towards my knees, but that was pushing water, so I think it was a bit lower than that. That's where I was like, ooh. This one's deep, but that was the worst one. So on the way back, I've just got to remember which one that was and not screw that one up, and I'll be fine, surely. Now I'm going to set up tent and then head to the cathedral and the domes, because that's this end of the park. Apparently the road this way is about 12k, but it's pretty brutal, but I'll be able to take all my gear off and I'll be able to stand. What's happening at the moment as I'm standing, everything's just sliding a little further forward, and then I can't sit down because I've got the backpack on the back with the cameras. So hopefully that will make it a lot easier, and I can just stand and stay on the speed limit of 50k an hour instead of getting to some ridiculous corrugations and having a slower. It's like, you know what corrugations like. So tent up, and we're going to have a look. My right boot is really soaked through. It's like squishy. I'll take it off and see how much water. I'll have a sock issue, I think. I think I'll run out of socks if I keep changing them. Ah, the joys. I unloaded the gear. if only it was that easy to set up the tent. Now to take the panniers off. It just requires undoing 2 nuts inside, and then with a bit of jiggling to loosen off the dirt, pull up and out, and they're off. Now to check out how wet the inside of my boots are. With a bit of time in the sun, they'll be fine. It was time to head off and go exploring. First up, I wanted to see the Bungle Bungle rock formations, and within these formations also lies Cathedral Gorge. Up the other end of the national park is Mini Palms Gorge and Echidna Chasm, which I'll check out tomorrow. There are still more water crossings to get through. How good is this place? Even the ride to the locations is fun. I'm not gonna lie, I got goosebumps when I saw them. You know, something you've seen as a kid in books and things? These things are insane. And also, it's such a different bike when there's no gear on it. It just like floats over the corrugations. It's easy around corners, went through sandy bits, everything was easy. Maybe I'm carrying too much stuff. So, if you ever go somewhere and you can dump gear and then there's trails, great idea, just take everything off. The further I rode in, the larger they got. There was no one about, but I still locked my gear to the bike. I was going to try and avoid hiking on this trip, but I think this one's worth it. Although the hike isn't that long. To the domes it's only about 700 metres return. To the cathedral it's 2 kilometres return. And then the lookout it's 2.8 return. So I don't think it'll be that long. Story of my life. The sun's in the wrong position for a photo, but wow, so much cooler in here. Looks like we're just walking up a riverbed. When I say we, my camera and I guess. There is nobody else here. Oh, I love national parks that are really hard to get to. I wonder if back in the day, like 2,000-3,000 years ago, this was known as the cool spot. And if it was, this would be like your plunge pool jacuzzi. I wonder if Hugh Hefner got his idea for his grotto here. Well, I didn't actually know about this place, so we're going to have a look at something I do know about. Never been. I'll get a sore neck looking through here. Although I'd say these things are actually better photography wise from that distance and seeing the whole lot together. How's this tree? It's like a spider hanging onto the wall. Wow, here's your money shot. I was taking photos so you didn't film it, but these birds are having a good crack at it. I'll show you a picture. I walked further into the canyon. This place is insane. So quiet. Nobody here. Wow, look at the walls on this thing. Imagine the water that comes through here when it's absolutely bucketing down. What would you do if pieces like that started falling? It's like, where do I run? So, how to describe this? I just should show you. This is Cathedral Gorge. Well, the cathedral part. It is a massive overhang cavern. This would be the main swimming pool. And this overhang. I have no idea how to photograph this. This is wild. I don't know if it's going to capture this, but one of those places you need to go. And that's about the only way to understand this place. You need to be here to experience it. The crows are very noisy though, I'll give them that. Besides that, it is blissfully quiet. Well, I'm going to leave my little beach. It's mine because there's nobody else here. It's mine for now. And going to try and get some photos on the way back. Hopefully the light is a little lower. We'll find out. The average height of the Bungle Bungle range is approximately 200 to 300 metres. Look at this riverbed. I made my way up the riverbed to the next lot of cones. The rocks are made out of sandstone, deposited about 360 million years ago, eroded by creeks, rivers and weathering in the past 20 million years. They are the best example of what is called cone casts in sandstone anywhere in the world. My last stop for the day is the Creek Lookout, and yeah, do I have to say it's stunning? You get a lot better idea of the cone clusters from here. Helicopter, that's how the rich do sightseeing. I think it's more fun down here. What do they remind you of? Is it the boiled lollies with the stripes, or just a big layered yummy cake? Oh, I could do some cake right now. And the view back's not bad either. Come to the Bungle Bungles. I headed back while taking in this otherworldly location. Well, made it back to the bike. It's a little hot and sweaty. The sun has gone from here, but there's a glimpse there, so I should have enough time to get back to the campsite. What an amazing place. Back on the dirt. I rode out, still trying to take in this wonder in the last of the light. Well, I'm going to call that. That was a pretty epic day. Bit of a ride in the morning, then a lot of river crossings. A lot of fun. Only one made me squirm a little. And then the Bungle Bungles. It's been a good one. Sounds like a barking bird. I can't see it. Don't know what it looks like. Actually, there's two of them. I think they're owls. They were in fact barking owls. So I fell asleep to the sound of the barking owls.